Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome. We got a special interview today with a guy who's competed for a FightersRep title, rather a guy I respect very much, a guy who's one of the best strikers in Southern California. And when you say that, you got to graduate it and say one of the best strikers, maybe in the country, maybe in the world, young up and coming beast of a fighter. Oscar Moller right there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar, how are you, my man?
Swaddy Cop. Thank you. I'm very good, very good. Fortunate, and doing really well. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Oscar, you're looking good with that beard, brother. When's the last time you cut that beard, brother?
I actually did this before the whole Corona thing started happening. I started it, I think it was like November.
I remember you at FightersRep 9 with that beard, and you were swole, man. I said, man, you look swole. You are not at the same weight I last saw you at. You were big, muscular big.
I tend to walk around a little bit bigger. I like to be a little bit bigger. You saw me. Yeah, I was bigger for sure. I think the post that you had on FightersRep for this interview, I was pretty close to my fight weight, so I was skinnier there. You can see it.
So just let the people know, Oscar. I mean, what do you fight at, and what do you typically walk around at? Because I'm interested too.
So I fight at 155. I fought down all the way down to 153, but I typically walk around, high 170s, probably close to 180.
Gotcha. And Oscar, we're gonna get into your fight career in a bit, but are you a personal trainer? You got some sort of connection in the fitness industry too, not just with fighting. Am I right?
Right. I mean, I think a lot of us that fight also do personal training to supplement what we do. I do a little bit of that, but I also have a regular 9 to 5. So, I have people that I have to look out for as well. So I have pretty full plate.
Oscar, everybody, I'm just letting you know everybody's in here, man. We got Everett in here. We got Maria Lopez in here saying she's one of your best fans. We got Cheddar in here saying we in here.
Yeah.
So you got some people that really support you in here, Oscar. You should be happy about that, brother. Listen, guys, Oscar didn't even want to do this interview. I had to be like, come on, Oscar, let's get in front of this camera, brother.
Yeah, I think I tend to be more conservative, and even when we did the episode for my upcoming fight with FightersRep. That's one of the things that I kind of stuck to. I'm conservative. I tend not to put too much stuff out there.
Yeah.
Something's close to the chest.
But definitely, an interesting guy and a great fighter. So let's kind of talk about your fight career, Oscar. I mean, what kind of got you started in this whole thing? Because like I tell most of my guests, it's not the easiest industry to make a living.
Yeah, it's absolutely not. I mean, most fighters that you talk to are going to have a lot of love and passion for Muay Thai, and that's really what keeps them here. I got started way back when. I mean, I've always been into boxing, MMA, like most guys that jump into this. My head trainer, Paul, was lucky. I was lucky enough to run into Paul and ask him to introduce me to the world of Muay Thai, and he did. He actually gave me personal one-on-one attention in the beginning before he brought me to the gym where he was training out of, and I fell in love with it from the moment I hit the pad. The first moment I hit the pad, I fell in love with it. I can't say that there was something in particular or a catalyst that brought me into Muay Thai. It was just something that was bound to happen.
Did you have some sort of sporting background before the Muay Thai, Oscar?
Yeah, absolutely. I've played basketball my entire life. I played basketball growing up, both recreational and, just for fun out in the streets. It's probably one of the things that kept me a little bit more on the straight and narrow. Basketball really was one of my first loves. I fell in love with it at, I think I was like around 10, 9 and 10, fourth grade. So, yeah, definitely have an athletic background.
I mean, did you play in high school and middle school? Tell me a little bit about that.
So definitely played in middle school. Did not play in high school because I was, a knucklehead. And so that, I had, it's funny because I was actually, always at parks playing. And I would run into coaches sometimes, and they'd ask me, like, where do you play? Why don't you come play for us? But, it just didn't interest me. I was more interested in being out doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And so during high school, middle school, I definitely played a lot. I played in rec leagues and, had fun with it like everybody else does.
You said you were doing things you shouldn't have done, Oscar. What do you kind of mean by that? Tell me a little bit about where you grew up and how you grew up.
So I grew up pretty much everywhere in LA. Any hood you call your home, I've probably lived there. But my teenage and adolescent years were spent in the South Bay and Hawthorne, and I was spending time with the wrong people, doing the wrong things, getting into trouble. We won't say what kind of trouble. It was just trouble. Things that you should not be doing, not going to school, cutting class, cutting days, trying to spend time with friends and girls instead of focusing on what I should have been focusing on. And, one of the biggest things that drove me in that direction was I didn't have somebody to knock me over the head. I mean, my mom could do what she could, but sooner or later, as a man, your mom just can't beat you hard enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, and was your father around to kind of help you with that?
No, it was I had a stepdad growing up when I was younger, and I attribute a lot of what I have here to him and my mom, but he's the one who actually taught me like my ABCs and counting. But like what happens in a lot of our families in the inner city is, the father figure kind of tends to fade away. And that's what ended up happening. So when I was a teenager or an adolescent, I didn't have that father figure. I didn't have that anchor, that person that was going to say, hey, listen, I'm still the king of this house. You still have not taken over,
Yeah. Shout out to the South Bay. I'm in San Pedro right now as we speak.
Hawthorne.
But I wanted to ask you a little bit about that father figure stuff you're talking about, because I can definitely relate to that as well. Being a Miami boy, I'm not from out here, but I am from Miami. I moved out here recently, Oscar, so I feel you on that. I wanted to ask you, did the fight game kind of help you find direction that, perhaps that paternal figure couldn't give you since he wasn't around?
Absolutely. I think when you don't have that paternal figure, you look to grasp at anything that you could hold on to. I was lucky enough that it wasn't the streets, that I found something that I could grow with. But ultimately, I think that the biggest impact in my life was the hunger to be better, the hunger to give my kids a better life than what I had. And that hunger, I believe, comes from my mom and seeing her struggle and seeing her fight for every dollar that she made.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to ask you a little bit about your background, because I can't help but notice every time you step into the ring, including when you stepped into the ring for us, you were representing for El Salvador, something serious. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, I grew up on the Salvadorian side. My mom's Salvadoreña. She's Latina through and through. And, I really love that side of myself. And I love that I have those roots. And if you don't know where you're from, you sure as hell don't know where you're going. So you definitely have to tap into that. And I feel like my warrior spirit comes from that. So to all the Salvadoreños out there, I see you. Keep representing.
Big shout out to the Salvadoran diaspora, to the people in El Salvador right now, the ones watching right now in California, everywhere else. Oscar, was your dad Salvadoran too, or do you not know about that? Or
no, yeah, he's actually Guatemalan.
Okay.
Yeah, and my last name is actually it's German. It has German blood, so his grandfather, great grandfather, whatever it may be, comes from Germany, and that's where my last name comes from, which throws people off because I don't look full Latino. And then you add my last name to that, and most people are not sure what I am. Which is okay. I like the ambiguity.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. How else has your culture kind of influenced? Because this is an interesting topic for a lot of people. I mean, how has your culture kind of influenced you and the way maybe that you fight? Because you said you feel like you tap into your warrior spirit through that, Salvadoran blood. Tell me a little bit about that and how you think it's helped you throughout your life.
Well, one of the biggest things or one of the things that always sticks out, one of the memories that I always think about is my mom talking about the revolution in El Salvador and how there was fighting, there was civil war, civil unrest, and how people, want to always fight for what they believe is right in their world. And I think that's always stood out to me. Like I want to fight for what I believe is right and for what I believe is the way you should conduct yourself. And that warrior spirit is just really the one thing that solidifies me. It anchors me down, and I feel that I take that into the ring every single time.
Oscar, you seem affiliated with a couple, different gyms, and I kind of want people to be able to follow you. I know you've done some cross training over at Team Victory. I see you now at Six Side. I think True Warrior was also part of your past. I mean, where is Oscar Moller right now operating out of? Where are you at right now?
So if you can see right now, I'm actually in my gym. You can't see the whole thing, but I'm in my gym right now. It's a Six Side Muay Thai. This is something that my coach Paul, Eugene, and myself have started and developed. And yeah, I was with True Warrior for a while, and as things in life go, you tend to outgrow things, and I came to a point where I had outgrown that team, and it was time to move on, and it was unplanned, but we're finding a lot of success with what we're doing, and at the end of the day, Coach Paul and I have been training for years, just him and I. Sometimes it's just a very small group, and we've had success that way, and we continue to have success. So I never want to change that. Team Victory, Crew Rod is very special to me. It's somebody that I've known for a long time, and I always tell him this: I knew you long before you knew my name, and so it's somebody that I admire, and I still continue to train with Crew Rod. So at the moment, we're Six Side and Team Victory. That's it, and that's why you see me corner some of those guys, because I train with those guys.
I love it, man. I love it. And you went in there and man, you put on a hell of a show. I got to bring it up. I believe it was back in FightersRep 6.
Right.
You and Wilson Ha, two of the toughest HP. We'll just call you guys HPs. Two of the toughest HPs in Southern California. You guys put on a show. You guys can go back and watch it on the FightersRep YouTube channel. Tell me a little bit about your preparation for that fight and what you felt about that fight. I never really got the opportunity to ask you about it. It was for a title. It was a very close fight. It could have gone either way, probably. Wilson ended up getting the decision. But, obviously we want you back. But, yeah, I'd like to know a little bit about your preparation for that fight and how you felt about that fight.
Well, first, shout out to Wilson. That's one tough dude, and I don't say that lightly. Like, he's one of the few dudes that I really truly believe is tough. From a gym that I respect tremendously. And so leading up to that fight, I knew preparation had to be on point. And I mean on point. I was making sure I ate right. I was making sure I was doing all my work. And in the back of my head, and I know this is cliche, but in the back of my head, I kept saying, I know he's working hard, because he knows my name. So I know he's working hard. And so every moment, every second of that training camp, my mentality was kill or be killed, because I knew going into it that that's what it was going to be. We were going to have to literally kill ourselves trying to win, trying to get that W. And that fight, like, if you haven't watched that fight and you're watching this right now, you gotta go watch that fight.
You gotta.
I still get people tell me stuff about that fight, and that one hurts. That fight really hurt, because I felt like that was really close, and I really thought we could squeeze that one out. But if I'm going to lose to somebody, and I don't want to lose to just anyone, it has to be somebody that lives up to the name, and that dude definitely lives up to the name.
I mean, yeah, I don't say it because it was our event. I don't say it because it was my event. It was a FightersRep fight. That was just plain and simple a dog fight, a 5-round dog fight. I mean, if you haven't watched that, you need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I still watch it now, and I think to myself, because I could still put myself back in that moment, almost like a movie, and I think of it like 5 rounds of nonstop, like literally nonstop. you know?
Yeah.
So
And speaking of which, Oscar, I mean, I don't do Muay Thai at Fighters Rep. We're a kickboxing only unified rules promotion. What do you kind of feel about the rule set? I'd love to get your opinion on that rule set.
on the kickboxing rule set,
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoy it. I want to go in there and I want to make sure that whoever I'm fighting is ready to come in and bring it to it. And the rule set, I think, caters to that. I definitely don't shy away from it, but it's definitely something that if you're more traditional Muay Thai, it's really hard to make that adjustment to kickboxing and not being able to catch kicks, not being able to kick someone while they're kicking you, not being able to stay in that clinch because it takes certain things away from you that you're not used to not having.
Right.
But no, it was I like the fights, watching them both live and on TV or on YouTube. The action is always there, and kickboxing always caters to that. So, and being in a market like Los Angeles, I think that it's important to be able to shift from one to the other.
Yeah, I agree. Couple things I wanted to ask you. You said you could put yourself back in that moment when you're watching the fight, Oscar. What is it? Is there any part of that fight where you wish, you could have done something else? Do you feel like you could have done more, or do you feel like, man, that was just you were maxed out, you were both kind of maxed out, and it was like two immovable objects kind of slamming into each other?
Yeah, hindsight is always 2020, and you could always Monday morning quarterback it. And looking back at that fight, the biggest takeaway for me. Actually, I won't even tell you what the big takeaway is for me. But yes, there's definitely things that I could have done better in that fight. My team and I talked about it, and we expect to actually see Wilson Ha again. So I'm going to keep that one close to the chest. But I definitely think that, there's always things you can take away from any fight, whether you win or you lose.
Yeah.
It does not matter. You should always find something to take away, and it helps you as you go through this journey. That's something that helps drive you. The want or need to perfect something or to get rid of holes, get rid of gaps.
Yeah. I love the strategy of keeping it close to your chest. I like the competitive spirit. I saw you. I had the pleasure of seeing you last at Fighters Rep 9 when you cornered John the Caveman Garcia, and what was I thought an incredible main event and an incredible performance by John Garcia. Kind of tell me what your involvement was with that.
Cornering him. I mean, John and I have been training for I want to say like a year now. We've known each other for a while, but we started training about a year ago. And during this training camp, we spent a good amount of time together. That's my dude. I loved watching him perform that night. It basically he basically peaked that night. I mean, his strength and conditioning coach, Iron Shredder, did a real good job of preparing him. He did a really good job of being diligent and staying on his training program, staying on his regimen. And what I saw from him, I saw the strongest and most complete fighter that night. I was proud of him, and to train next to him is an honor.
What did you think about that fight? Because I'm not going to lie. I mean, there were exchanges that went on in that fight, especially in the second round, that kind of had the hair on the back of my neck standing up. And, I'm the promoter. I mean, of course, I'm going to feel that way. But kind of tell me what your thoughts were on that.
Well, I think for fighters, it's a little different because you know what it is going in there, but not being in there and having to corner one of your friends or somebody you train with is totally different. And during that fight, I really wasn't taking that fight in the same way I would take any other fight where I may not know the person. During that fight, I was really just trying to analyze everything he was doing. And that second round actually, for me, it made me take a step back because I didn't like what was happening. He was taking a risk because he was feeling the guy's power and thinking, well, I can just walk through this. But, as the fight goes on and your body starts to wear and take more hits, the less likely you are to take it. So I was taken back on that one. I had to take a step back and let him know, hey, let's get back on our horse. Let's get back to what we came here to do, and let's stay with it. But Crew Rod did a real good job of bringing him right back to it. But that second round was crazy.
That second round was nuts, my man. And of course, John ended up getting the win in what was a fantastic performance. Oscar, tell me a little bit about Six Side Muay Thai. I mean, is that your baby now? Is Six Side Oscar Moller's baby?
Yeah, so this is Coach Paul at Punchy Paul, if you want to follow him. And then Eugene, that's Gino Westsider, at Gino Westsider. The three of us, basically, this is our baby. We've been training together for a really long time. All three of us have gone through the doors of True Warrior, and now we've built this. We've come out to West Adams area and, built our own thing. And I'm one of the fortunate fighters that, has had a gym and a facility to still work out of and still have that connection with my head trainer. Here we strive to make sure that everybody learns the technique of Muay Thai as well as the tradition of Muay Thai, not just how to throw a punch or how to throw a kick, but why you're throwing it, why you do the things that we do. And more than anything else is spread the love and the passion that we have for the sport. So if you're looking for a spot to train, come check us out.
Where is it? Tell me about it. Tell them where they can follow you on social media to come learn how to fight from one of the baddest dudes doing it right now.
Yeah. So follow us at Six Side Muay Thai. We're in the West Adams area, so right where the 10 and La Brea meet, the 10 freeway in La Brea, West Adams, Mid Wilshire, near Culver City. Come in anytime you want that work. Get at me. We will set something up. You'll come in here, and I promise you'll learn. You'll step out of here learning something new, something to add to your tool belt.
And you sure will. And Oscar, do you think that I'm sort of exaggerating when I tell people that some of the best fighters in the world are right here in Southern California, and when you're looking at the best guys from down here, you are looking at some of the best guys in the world. Am I wrong for feeling that way?
No, I don't disagree with that. I think the fighter pool here is a lot larger than in most places, and so it's going to breed a lot more of those type of fighters. You push each other the same way that I get pushed by my trainer, then I turn around and I push the people that I train with, and so you just start to elevate things up. I will say that now you do see a lot more cross training, a lot more than what I'm used to. I'm a little bit more traditional when it comes to that. I like to train with less people and not go to so many gyms, because then I might be fighting a guy I'm training with. I might fight him 6 months down the line. I don't know, and so that's one of the things I think that in LA you see more of than you do anywhere else. And I'm not knocking anybody if that's what you decide to do, and that works for you, then it works for you. Me personally, I just like to keep my circle tight.
Gotcha, I got you, Oscar. We got some people in the chat, man, and I gotta read some of these. I gotta read some of these comments and questions to you because we like to get people involved here. So, Cheddar's in here, as you know, 323. He said, "We in here, yo." This is Eder. This is Eder. He says, "I told him to keep that beard," is what he says.
He's actually the one who said, I was, before I even grew it out, I was thinking about it, and he's like, "Do it, man, do it," because he's got a real nice sized beard too. And oddly enough, when I ended up growing this, he ended up having to cut his for work reasons. But hope you got yours back, Eder.
Maria Lopez says, "Give a like to this video for sure. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We feature some of the best fighters in the area for sure. And like I said, if they're some of the best in the area, they're probably some of the best in the world. So show some love to the channel. And follow Oscar. Oscar, where can they follow you on Instagram, brother?
Oscar.01.m. That's O, the letter O, not the number. So Oscar.01.m.
You heard the man. Give him a follow. Genesis Funes is in here.
Oh, yes. That's all the way from Boston, by the way.
Wow,
nice. Boston. Shout out to Boston.
Big shout out, Boston. Samuel Perez is in here. Where can we follow your career? Says Disney Everett, one of the followers of our show. Where can they follow your career, Oscar?
Man, that's a tough one. Like now with social media and YouTube, a lot of fighters like to put everything out there. You said it earlier. I was reluctant to do this interview because I'm a little bit more conservative. I tend to control or like to control the things that are put out there about me. So you're not going to find my fights on YouTube other than FightersRep, and maybe a couple others. But if you want to follow me directly, you want to know about me, Instagram is going to be the best way. I try to stay as active as possible there. I try to inspire people as much as I can as well. That's really one of my main goals, and so Instagram is the easiest way.
And just like with this interview, we're going to force Oscar Moller back to FightersRep to fight for us in the future, whether he likes it or not, because we love Oscar Moller. You will be hopefully hearing and seeing more from his career at FightersRep, because he's a guy with tremendous talent, along with, basically everyone you're associated with, everyone at Team Victory. All these guys are great fighters,
Yeah.
man. I really look forward to pushing you guys and seeing how far we could take this thing in Southern California.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. The future is going to look bright in a couple months when everything changes, hopefully. But either way, I think that the future is bright for California. You got a Southern California specifically. You got a lot of talent, big talent pool here. Team Victory, you already said it. Like the fighters that have gone through that door,
For sure,
so,
for sure.
a lot.
For sure, and celebrities and everything else. Soon I'm
Yeah.
soon I'm sure Six Side will be training some celebrities too. All the Hollywood people are gonna start flocking over there.
Yeah, we'll try to get them in here. For sure.
Maria Lopez, Oscar. She says Wilson versus Oscar was a great fight. I couldn't agree more.
Biased.
I couldn't agree more. That was a badass fight. Who's Maria? Who is this Maria, Oscar? Who is this?
That's why I said it's biased. That's my mom, actually.
Oh,
My
very
mom.
nice.
So, I love you, Mom. Thank you. Te quiero.
Thank you, Mom, for developing such a warrior. And I was gonna say, you were talking about in a couple months, this will all be okay. But when you got a beard like that, you don't have to worry about any sort of virus. It can never make it through such manliness.
Yeah, I don't even disagree with that.
Sherry Moller says, "Damn right, Moller represent the Salvi roots. We love you, brother."
That's my sister. Thank you.
Cheddar
Shout out to
says,
Terry.
shout out to Cherry. Cheddar says, "I have a question for Oscar." This is Eder, by the way.
Right.
You said that you tend to be conservative with putting yourself out there, but what made you want to start uploading more content on your YouTube?
Oh, yeah. So I have a YouTube channel, actually. I think it's Oscar Moller. I'm not good with this, but yeah, it's Oscar Moller. The only reason I started putting more content out there is because of what was going on. I wanted to give our students and our circle as much content as possible, try to keep them engaged. I think it's important. You know this better than anybody else, George, because you started that the fund to try to help some of the local gyms out. But
Right.
for a lot of gyms, we're one of the fortunate gyms that we weren't really struggling too bad. I'm not going to say that we weren't, but we weren't struggling too bad.
Thank God, man. Thank God.
My focus was really just trying to keep people engaged and give them as much content as possible. Just keeping people involved, keeping that community, because at the end of the day, that's what this is. When you get involved with a gym, a Muay Thai gym, 9 times out of 10, it's a community. And the reason you stick around is because you end up enjoying the people that you train with.
For sure. And Chatter323, which is Eder, he says, awesome content, by the way. So it looks like, people are...
I have more coming, actually. I released a video before the whole protest thing happened, and it was supposed to be one a week. But the protest I put a halt to it because of the protest, and I felt like that was a better focus. I think everybody needed to focus on that. I still think people need to focus on that now. But I do have more content that's coming. So I'm actually going to be posting a video later tonight.
And that's very honorable of you. What are you putting up on the YouTube channel, Oscar? Is it training stuff, or is it personal stuff, or what is it? Is it a mix?
Yeah, it's a mix. I do have some training videos. I've been told they're a little intense, but you kind of get to see what I put myself through, and so I have some training videos up there. But I also have some inspirational videos that I created with my man Leo, which you'll see in the description. Leo is a genius, man. He's an up and coming director, and he helped me put these videos together. He actually brought the idea to me, and then it kind of just flourished into what we're doing now. And the goal is just to inspire people to get out and stay active. although we're going through a pandemic, you still want to take care of the body. And one of the things that I feel people are not talking about, specifically the medical industry, is how important it is to take care of your body and your health prior, not when you're in the situation, but prior to the situation. You want to make sure that your immune system and your body is strong enough to fight things off or to repel things.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like our culture is more about dealing with the situation when it's already a situation as opposed to preventing it. And that's kind of weird, when you have idioms that kind of say stuff like, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it's like we don't live by that stuff, but it's true. And I know that, your I guess your partner there, Gino, he's sort of got like a moss of some
Yes. Oh,
Give him a shout out. Show him some love,
shout out
man.
to Gino Westsider, Eugene. That's my brother, man. He's got God Moss Los Angeles. Look him up at God Moss Los Angeles. That stuff fuels me. And if you don't know about CMOS, you need to get up on game. I'm somebody that likes to stay as natural as possible with my supplements. I don't like to take pre-workouts or drink a lot of different supplements that end up tainting the body. But there's few that I do, and the few that I do mess with, I've either done my homework or I'm willing to stray away from that narrow path that I've created for myself. So God Moss, it's CMOS. It's got 92 of the essential elements, minerals, and vitamins that your body needs. And he's actually got the 102, which is also that's like a step up. That's got every essential mineral and vitamin that your body needs. So definitely check him out on Instagram.
That sounds really interesting, and that's a very like a Caribbean kind of Central American kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe it comes from that area. One of the things that I think people don't know about it is that it gives you so many benefits. Like, it's helped me with energy. It helps people with thyroid issues. So definitely helps with weight loss as well. So yeah, it's from that area, but it's spread out now. Like, I believe they have some Irish sea moss as well. So you find it in certain locations.
Oscar, you got into the diets and the supplement stuff, man. You're gonna have to tell us what is it that Oscar Moller eats. What is it that Oscar Moller does to be in such great shape?
Well, I actually don't have to make my own meals because I have somebody that does that. That's I got to give Uncle Jag a shout out because he does all my meals. He keeps me clean. I mean, I eat lean meats, a lot of vegetables. I tend to stay away from the carbs when I'm getting closer to fight. My body functions really well without carbs. I tend to be a little bit more lethargic when I have carbs. But like everybody else, lean meats and vegetables, it's not that difficult as long as you know how to cut things out and you stick with it. The biggest thing is being disciplined. And one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about with fighters is the nutrition and what we go through to cut weight and make weight for a fight.
Well, that's something I'm definitely interested in. If you want to let us in on that, but let's read a couple more comments here because you got a lot of fans in here. They want to hear from the beard. Eddie Funes says that beard vicious.
As vicious as the fist.
and Manuel Rivas says beard gang.
Yeah, you know what it is. That's my brother.
Gotcha.
Eddie Funes is my cousin. No, that's actually my uncle. Sorry.
Juan Rivas is in here too. He says, "Hell yeah, bro!" He's throwing up the bicep.
That's what's up. You guys know Juan Rivas. If you watch the FightersRep fight,
Yeah.
he's actually my other cornerman. He's the
Oh,
third one in there.
okay, great. And definitely I implore everybody that's on here, man, go back, watch the documentary. If you go to our documentaries playlist, you can see the lead up to the fight between Oscar and Wilson. I thought, our producer Vahan did a fantastic job on that one.
Yeah, he did.
We really got to know Oscar and Wilson. And then go back and watch that fight, man. That was a vicious fight, a fantastic fight, and I think both your stocks really rose in that fight. I'm really, really, as you can see, man, I'm excited to have you guys back at some point.
I don't disagree with you. I feel like that the lead up to the fight was built up really well. And not for nothing, Fighters Rep, you guys have done a really, really good job of showcasing the fighters. Giving them the story, the background, where it's not just a fight. You're getting to know a fighter and you make a connection with people. But that lead up, that fight, and then what you don't talk about it is the review that you had the day after. I think a combination of those just shot the stocks way up.
Thank you, brother. Hey, man, the whole point here is, as a promotion, we got to work together with you guys. We got to do our best by you guys so that you guys also do your best by us, and we all can grow a fantastic striking culture here. And the end game is to get people interested, to get you guys paid, man. That's the end game. That's what I'm aiming for. I can't speak on behalf of other promoters, but that's what I'm aiming for. That's why we decided to do our first ever Pro-Am a couple months ago in February. And you guys will be, God willing, you guys will be seeing a lot more of that. I mean, I'm just going to stick to Pro-Amps from here on out and try to really bust this thing open for you guys. Loni Chacon is in here. Eric Funes. Yajaira Espinosa. Eli España says, Team Six Side. Caleb Tenpa says, what's up, Oscar?
What's up, West Side?
Caleb says, give him another title shot. 100.
It's my dude Caleb, man. That's team victory too. That's love.
Caleb actually, is this the same Caleb that hurt himself? I believe Caleb fought for us when we were doing MMA shows.
Oh, I'm not even sure about that. I wouldn't be surprised though, man. That dude is a fighter through and through. There's no denying that.
I believe it is. Maria Lopez says, for me, my son is the best fighter. Hell yeah, I'm a proud mom. I love and admire my son Oscar's dedication. As you should, Maria. This is a fantastic young man. Sherry Moller says, you pronounce our last name wrong, but who does it? So I should say Mueller? I should say Mueller.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Your last name, people pronounce it however they pronounce it. And after a while, you're just like, we'll go with that. That's good. But the O actually has two dots over it. It's called umlauts. And because it's German, there it's normal. Here we don't do that. But yeah, it's pronounced Müller.
Gotcha, Müller. I'll try to keep that in mind. Let the announcer know the next time I see him. We've got Kyun Lee says, I see him drinking that Shrek juice. What are they talking about here, Oscar?
That's the green juice I drink with my godmas. I have this concoction that I make. I usually don't tell everybody about it. It's just the people that see me that know it. So if you have questions and you see me drinking it or you want to know about it, but you know me and you're close, I'll let you in on the secret.
Gotcha. Oscar, besides competing, I mean, are you a big fan of combat sports? And if so, what is your favorite combat sport? What's something you can sit down and watch?
Absolutely. I think, for me, combat sports is something that I've been into since I was young. Obviously, when you're younger, or when I was younger, the most accessible was boxing, and boxing is really the first thing I ever remember watching. But Muay Thai through and through, I can watch, the golden era, which everybody enjoys watching. I love watching glory fights. UFC from time to time. I mean, when they have big shows, but now I've been able to watch more fights. Usually when I'm getting ready for a fight, I really don't get to watch too much TV, and I really don't watch too many fights unless it's a pay-per-view and everybody else is watching it. But yeah, I enjoy Muay Thai, kickboxing for sure.
You have any favorite fighters or styles?
Nah, I wouldn't say I have a favorite fighter or style. I mean, coming up, who didn't like Bocao? That was everybody's favorite,
Wow.
Yeah, of course, you like Bocao. Right now, I like Sidichai. Sidichai is one of my favorite fighters. But right now I focus on myself more than anything else.
And speaking of which, What are the plans for you, going forward? I mean, I know we're all dealing with this Corona stuff right now and everything else happening to the country, which is very unfortunate. But, what is it, or when is it that you think we'll be able to see you in the ring again? Especially in a fighter's rep ring, if I'm going to be selfish here.
Well, I'll say a couple of things. One, if you know me, you know how active I like to be. I like to be as active as possible. But IKF has placed some rules, some new rules that are probably going to keep me from doing that. I mean, if I could fight every 2 weeks to a month, I would. And I wanted this year actually to be one of my most active years. I wanted to fight as much as possible this year. But, given the circumstances, we're not there. My next fight, right now, there's a promotion out there that wants to do something in October. They think that they'll be able to do it. I don't know that that's actually the truth, but if that is the case and the door's open, I'd fight there. If we're talking about fighters rep, I mean, there's one way you could really get me in that ring quick.
How's that? What do I got to do?
First show you're able to do, and I don't do this, but I would do it for sure. If I could get a fight with Abel Torres, which you had on your show, if I could get a fight with that dude, man, I put everything to sleep.
You said Abel Torres?
Yeah.
We had Abel Torres on our show?
Yeah, is it Abel Torres? What's his last name? You had him on your show though.
Abel Lara?
Lara, that's his name. My bad. Is it the train? Is it the freight train?
Did you just call him the train wreck? Oh, shots fired! Listen. Shots fired! Listen. Shots fired, brother.
Yo, so Abel, I'm letting you know, man. If you know Abel, get him to watch this. Yo. Take the fight, man. Let's do it.
Listen, Oscar, listen. Let me tell you something. I interviewed Abel Lara.
Yeah.
I interviewed him not too long ago. I know who he is. He hasn't fought for us yet. We talked about it. But he's interested in fighting for us. And I definitely think that he wants to fight you. In fact, I believe he's actually brought you up to me, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, really? Well, it's interesting because we've already fought. Matter of fact, I'll put the highlight video on YouTube.
I think that's how you were brought up to me. He told me that you were somebody that he competed against in the past. He didn't say anything bad. He just said, you competed against each other in the past. And I do think that would be a fight that he would want. But is there any reason you want to fight him? Because this is exciting for me. I want to know why you're calling him out here.
Listen, this is a small community. The Muay Thai world is not as big as people think it is. A lot of people know a lot of people. And sometimes you say things and you don't know who's listening. And things have been said. And so I want to rectify that situation. I'm not going to say what was said. It doesn't even matter. But I definitely think that certain people move a certain way. And when you do, everybody takes notice, even though you think they don't. And, a duck is a duck. A snake is a snake. A dog is a dog. So,
oh, my goodness. Oscar Moller, I love it, brother. Hey, I promise you, I will make that fight happen if you want that fight. 100% I'll make that fight happen. And I wouldn't doubt it right now if Abel Lara is watching this interview and he's probably going to text me within the next few minutes and say, I want Oscar Moller as well. So
hey, listen, one of the things that he knows, and there's no way he could deny it because he's been in it. I'm not backing down. He knows what it is. So I'm ready. If he wants to sign it, we'll sign it. And I'll do it down in the 140s.
Wow. I love it. Hey, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Let's do it.
While we're talking about your career, Oscar, how long have you been campaigning? Just so the people watching know, how long have you been campaigning at the amateur level? And, again, another selfish question. At what point can we expect you to hit the pro ranks? Because I am interested in that.
You want the long-winded answer?
I want what? Yes. I have all night.
All right. So initially when I was approached to fight by the person that used to run or own True Warrior, it wasn't actually a question directed at me, and I accidentally answered yes, and that's what threw me into this. Although I knew from the moment I hit the pads that eventually I wanted to fight. I just wasn't sure when I was going to be ready. Like whoever really knows when they're ready. But when that moment finally came and I did fight, you know, I fell in love with it and I wanted to keep doing it. And there was a lot of things that happened that wouldn't allow me to step into a ring. And whatever those reasons are irrelevant, but I couldn't fight as much as I wanted to. And it wasn't until I took my future into my own hands that things started to move for me. I've been probably the most active these last, I want to say 4 to 5 years. And, you know, I've been trying to fight as much as possible because it's something that I really love doing. And I really don't have any rush to go into the pro ranks. It has to be a good deal for me. It has to be something that makes sense. But like, I'm not one of those guys that's like, yo, I need to go pro now because I need to get on. Like, I'm not, that's not me. I just want to fight. So if the fight's there, I'm going to take it. And if the pro situation is correct, then I'll take that as well. And, you know, a while back, I think like 2 years ago, we had a chance to go fight for glory. And that didn't end up happening. You know, things happened. The fight ended up dissolving. And so we didn't end up fighting for glory. But, you know, if they were going to take me on, I was willing to take it. So far, nothing like that's happened again. And if it doesn't, I'm okay with that. You know, I'll go pro when I'm ready.
All right, brother. All right. And, you know, so, I mean, any estimates next year, a couple years down the line? Do you think?
I got the perfect estimate for you. When you get Abel Lara, we do it.
If you
get that dude, I'm on.
As a pro fight?
Yeah, the dude just went pro, right?
Oh, man, you know, I think he's thinking about it. I don't know if he went pro yet, but, I mean, if that's what you guys want, I'd be more than happy. Uh-oh, and Abel Lara just signed into the chat room, and he says,
there we go.
He says, sup, G. He says 145, so it looks like he wants to do it.
Let's go. Let's do it.
145. He says LFG, which is, I think...
let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Yo, Abel, you better be serious, man. You know I don't play. And if you know me, I don't say something without thinking about it. I know what I'm saying.
So there we go. Shots fired. I mean, this is definitely more drama than I was prepared for, but I love it. And, yeah, we'll make it happen. He says not pro yet, so we'll see what we can do. But if you
Whatever
guys...
you want to do.
You guys want to do it amateur, we could do it amateur. If you guys want to do it pro, we can do it pro. But it will be, if it's with us, it will be a unified rules kickboxing event. It will not be a Muay Thai event. So we'll kind of bring both of you to that kickboxing realm and see what's up. So this is very exciting. Very exciting. Oscar, I wanted to ask you another question, you know, about your career. You know, since we're still in your career, what's the long-term goal? I mean, what's the end game for Oscar Moller? You know, are you trying to go all the way with this thing, become a successful pro, or are you just, you know, trying to put some stuff on your resume and maybe continue to build your brand at Six Side? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's going to be a combination of those things. I mean, initially when I first started fighting, I said, hey, let me get 5 under my belt and I'm good. I'll walk away happy. And then 5 became 10, 10 became 15, so on and so forth. And then now we're here. We have a brand. We have a school, and we're able to teach people and spread the passion and love. The end goal is big. You know, I want to own my own space. I don't want to lease a space. I want that space to pay for itself, where I don't have to worry about how many students are walking through my door. Do I want to go pro? Absolutely. If the situation is right, I'll do it. No question. I just want to keep growing. I want to keep learning. I think Julio Trana said it best. You know, you just got to keep learning, not just for yourself, but with your students. You grow together, and that's the ultimate goal, is to continue to learn, continue to grow, ultimately become a master at this. You know, and I feel like that's an ever elusive goal.
Abel Lara says, let's go pro debut 145. See you soon, foo. Much love, blessing, and respect, Oscar. So I guess he's willing to do whatever. You mentioned a guy I respect very much as well, the head over there at Saxon Muay Thai, who we also interviewed on this channel, Julio Trana. And did he say that in the interview? When did you hear that from him? That's what I'm kind
Yeah,
of.
he said it. He said it during the interview that you
Okay.
had. Like, if you're watching and you're listening, you'll hear it. So yeah, he definitely said it. It's I pay attention to a lot of the people that I either look up to, admire, or I feel are doing things the right way, or have reached the level that maybe I want to reach at some point in time. And Saxons and Julio and his dad and his mom, they've done a really great job, and I appreciate the love that they show me every time I see them, including his team. I've trained with Kyle. I've gotten a chance to talk to Brian Delisario and chop it up with him, and so I respect that team. There's no way you can't. When you're cut from the same cloth, there's just no way you don't respect that.
For sure. And I was asking because, I wasn't sure if you watched the interview on our channel. That's pretty awesome to me if you did.
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of stuff, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoy watching, uh, people like Julio, people like Crew Rod, Crew Walter over at City of Tong. You got a lot of great crews out here.
Fantastic people, man. Fantastic people, accomplished people, Oscar. And
Yeah,
that's part of the reason. That's part of the reason we're going to be doing these interviews every Friday live, Oscar. That's why. And you're the first one that's on this live Friday schedule. Not the first interview we've had, but definitely you're going to be the first of many future Friday interviews. So I appreciate you doing this. I wanted to ask you one more thing about Julio Trana, also a basketball player, as was I in high
yeah, he's
school.
a point. I know that.
As
I
wa-
remember.
as was I in high school. What position did you play?
Oddly enough, I played point too, but I grew out of that position, and not stature, but like I became more of a shooter, small
Got you.
forward.
Got you. Got
Um,
you.
as I started playing more in my adulthood, I have a group of guys. Shout out to my boy Jordan Winters, who actually produces the Mike Rappaport podcast. But yeah, I play with a group of guys over there, and I'm not a true point anymore. I'm more of uh, an off guard or a small forward.
That's really dope, man. We got to get like a knucklehead fight industry basketball game going with me, you, and
Yeah, let's
Julio at
do it.
some
Let's do
point,
it.
my
That'd be
man.
fun.
Even though I probably look like shit at this point, but I need to get back into something here, Oscar.
You gotta make sure your shot is wet. That's it. As long as your
Maria
shot is wet, you're good.
Maria Lopez says, hello, East Coast. Love you, Team Boston. Miss you, LA. So your family's going back and forth, loving each other on here in the chat. Oscar.
Yeah, I got roots out in Boston. Got Salvadoreños out there too. A lot of them. I was just out there with my family in I think it was August of last year, maybe September. But
Yeah.
it was great. It was a good time. I lived out there for a little while when I was younger, and then came back to LA. So still born and bred in LA.
Very nice. And wow, Oscar. I mean, we've been on here with you for about an hour, my man. I don't really want to take up too much more of your time, bro, but I want to thank you again for allowing me to do this with you. I want to thank you for fighting for me. You fought for our promotion, and for me that's a big deal, man. You trusted me enough, not knowing me from a hole in the wall, to come fight for me. I hope you had as great of an experience working with me as I have with you so far and with your team. And I really hope to continue. I hope to continue to build you and your team as you guys have built me and my promotion, my brother.
Man, thank you. I appreciate that. Your promotion puts real good shows together, and like I said earlier, you guys showcase the fighters. I definitely had a great experience with you guys. I know the scheduling didn't work out as far as me coming back and fighting again, but I definitely want to do it again. It's definitely a promotion that people should pay attention to, and that is absolutely looking out for fighters, and we appreciate that, from the bottom of our heart. So thank you, brother.
Thank you, Oscar. Guys, if you haven't already, I'm going to ask you one time, hit the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon next to it. We put up free fights. We do interviews with badasses like Oscar Moller. You know, we go live immediately after all the big fights to discuss them if you're interested in discussing big fights on TV. And then every Monday, Oscar, we have a podcast now with Manny Robles, who is Andy Ruiz's coach, and Charles Martin and everyone else. So we call it Keeping It Clean with Manny Robles, where we discuss boxing. So we do that every Monday at 7 p.m. So you guys are more than welcome to join us. Hit the subscribe button and definitely follow Oscar Moller. Oscar, give them that Instagram one more time. Somebody dropped it in the chat here.
Drop it again. Drop it in the chat again. It's Oscar dot the letter O, the number 1 dot M. Oscar.01.m.
Bam.
Also go onto the YouTube channel too. Check it out. Show some love. Follow, subscribe. Definitely become a knucklehead. They put out great content. FightersRep, great channel. Make sure you follow.
Much appreciated, brother. And I just dropped it in the chat. It's at Oscar.01.m. You can also follow his badass gym at Six Side Muay Thai. Go out there, get a lesson, man. Support our local gym. Support the best fighters in the world, man. Show some love. But anyway, that's all we've got for you, knuckleheads. We appreciate you guys joining. Until next time, me and the Moller, we're out of here. Keep it clean, guys.
That's what I got.